All right, welcome back to BrainFLoTv, y'all. I know you never seen me in this context, like, sitting in a car talking and all that, but different scenery, nothing changed. So this is another update to the YNW Melly trial, right? And as we move forward towards YNW Melly being retried again, I want you to leave in the comment section if you think this next trial that's coming up, he's going to walk free, or do you think this next trial that's coming up, he is going to be finally convicted, or do you think that it's going to end in a mistrial like his last trial, which was his first trial, and this would make it his second trial where it ends in a mistrial? Which one of those you think is about to happen? So as of today, today's date is, let me see, Saturday, January 20th. I'm sitting out here in this parking lot waiting on some business, but as of January 20th, 2024, here's some update from news media. So the defense for YNW Melly are seeking to remove documentary video from evidence ahead of his double trial. Last video I did, I told you all that the prosecution submitted over 50 songs and also submitted, I think, 4 album covers and a couple of videos. Well, now his attorneys are filing motions. More motions are being filed. They're filing motions to have some of this stuff not show up when it goes to trial again. What video documentary exactly it is, let's get into that. So, YNW Melly is accused of murdering 2 of his childhood friends in 2018 after a late-night recording session by making it look like it's a drive-by. Well, he murdered them and then tried to stage as if it was a drive-by shooting that occurred. Allegedly, right? This is what the defense is fighting against. This is what the prosecution is saying actually happened. Rapper YNW Melly was back in court on Friday, which was yesterday, for a motions hearing as his defense attorneys seek to have a promotional video removed from evidence as he faces a double murder retrial, NCB6's Marissa Bragg reports. First of all, let me say this. I keep on saying it. I think one of the biggest mistakes they made in the first trial was that YNW Melly's trial was so drawn out. Like, I fell asleep during some of that stuff, like when they were given evidence in court, right? And I know it's all important, but they went through so many text messages and they went through so many stuff that I thought, okay, I know the relevancy of it. They're trying to make a solid case to establish that that phone was not a community phone. It was your phone. It was YNW Melly's phone. So they had to go through all the personal stuff on there. But damn it, man, it had me like this. And I'm sure it had some of the jurors like that as well, right? So I figured the best thing for them to do going into their next trial was to actually slim this whole thing down. Trim the fat, if you will, and get straight to the meat of the matter. But now that they have added 50 songs, and I heard somebody say, oh, because they added 50 songs doesn't mean that they're going to use all 50. Well, shit, why the hell did they add 50 if you don't plan on using all 50? I was told that they plan on going through all 50 of those songs and all those pictures and whatever else, right? I think that's going to weigh the case down even more. But let's see what happens, because I'm not the attorney and I'm not the prosecution either, and I'm not the judge. I'm looking in from the outside. Now, this video footage that they're trying to get taken out, omitted, not used in the upcoming trial, rapper YNW Melly was back in court on Friday for a motion hearing as his defense attorneys seek to have a promotional video removed from evidence as he faces a double murder retrial. The rapper, whose name is Jamel Demons, is accused of murder. We know what he did already. Let's skip past that part. So let's get to the motion centers on a 20-minute documentary about Melly's life and his rise to fame, which was filmed just before the double murder that he is accused of. Damn. So they're trying to get this thrown out. This could be very compelling evidence in here. This is a documentary that was filmed right before the double murders that he is accused of. But here, this part though, that I think is crazy. The video often shows Melly holding a gun. And in the last few seconds of that video, it mentions the deaths of Thomas and Williams. So in that video, it mentions the death of YNW, Juvy, and Sakchaser. But it was filmed before he was accused of the murders. Now I know what they're trying to do. His attorneys are trying to paint a picture because, you know, visuals are everything. So you could do a video, right? And your video is about robbing a store, shooting up people in the store. Man, it got bloody in there. I grabbed the money and I was out. I hear it in a song. It doesn't really connect, right? But if I see the video, then it becomes like a movie. You kicking the door in, bam, you put the gun up. You shooting a person who you're like, put the money in the bag. Oh, you moving too slow. Bam, bam, bam. Blood's everywhere. It paints a friggin' different picture. So people like the jurors in this trial, they don't need to be seeing him holding a gun. And if it's the documentary that I think I've seen, where they talked about they're growing up and all that other stuff, if it's that documentary, YNW Melly is holding a chopper. He is holding an AK-47 in that video. I don't remember if he was holding any other guns, but I specifically remember him holding an AK-47. Now, you're on trial for a shooting, double murder, and yeah, you don't want to be on video holding a gun. And not only that, I think in the video he also spoke about his love for guns, right? And I think there's also a snippet in that video where they speak about his personalities, his multiple personalities. And he said something about, it was an interview that he did that they spliced it in, that said something about his multiple personalities. And like he'll be like, yeah, Jamel and or Melly, and yeah, and you don't want him to come out. And, you know, he keeps on getting out at nights, though, but I got to work on that. I got to work on him not coming out. Like, these are footages that could be damaging. So, yeah, a good attorney is going to be like, hey, could we, like, not do that? Because it could paint some kind of prejudicial picture for the jurors. You know, him holding a gun might not have anything in that video to do with these murders, but these double murders were committed using a gun. So it was a gun crime, and there he is holding a gun and professing his love for guns, which could cause somebody to come up with the wrong he guilty. I don't even need to see no more. He guilty. Yep, that boy guilty. He looks like a thug. He looks like the type of person that would do something like that kind of thing. So his attorneys are trying to get that piece of video taken out, right? The video often shows Melly holding a weapon, and in the last few seconds, it mentions the deaths of Sakchaser and Juvy. The defense is trying to get parts of the documentary video removed from evidence so the jury in his second double murder trial will never see it. The defense says that the video is hearsay, but the state says that it proves that YNW Melly was at the scene of the crime. I don't know what the heck. I can't wait for this trial to start. If they're saying that video proves that he was at the scene of the crime, that means he probably had said something in that video that only somebody who was at the scene of the crime would have known happened. You feel me? Right. Now, last week, defense attorneys were seeking to have the Broward County State Attorney's Office removed from this case completely ahead of the retrial, and said that there was grounds for a dismissal, which means If they remove the entire Broward County State Attorney's office, that means that that trial could not be tried in the county that it's in. They would have to move that whole trial to another county. I don't know, Seminole County, if it's in Dade, Broward County, they got to go to some other county except for the county that it's in, right? It's obviously in Broward County. This is Broward County, so they would have to move it to like Dade County or move it to some other county. The judge said that he's considering the motions and he will likely rule on those motions this week coming up. Those motions came as the prosecutors assigned to the case said a fellow prosecutor who is a potential witness for the defense misspoke when she questioned the credibility of the lead police detective in the case last year. Back to this again. We talking about Boutros again. And Boutros turning against her department and saying, yeah, I overheard them saying some stuff they weren't supposed to be saying. Basically, she skipped sides and went over to YNW Melly's defense. And that is kind of like unheard of. Yeah. But the Broward County prosecution department, they fired back. And they said she didn't hear what she thought she heard. She made up some stuff, right? Because that's not how it went down. Now, I'm trying to think to myself, could you imagine you went before the courts to say some shit about the people that you work for? You supposed to be a team. And you turned against them in a major high-profile case that they are trying to get a conviction on, that they actually got their lead prosecutor removed from that case. And here you are standing with the defense of the person they are trying to get found guilty. And then your department comes out and wins this in court. What you heard was not how it went. I can't imagine how uncomfortable it must be for her showing up to work every day. Ain't nobody in that building fucking with her no more. Nobody in that building is talking to her no more. She ain't got no friends at work. When lunchtime comes, she go eat her lunch in the car. I can promise you that. Ain't nobody dealing with her at work no more. But that's where they're at with that. The judge still has not made a ruling concerning that. And now the judge must also make a ruling concerning the video footage that they're talking about that they want to keep in from this documentary, but YNW Melly's attorneys want that out. As far as the latest release information goes, I already released that to you about a week ago, where the judge actually ruled that there's a list of people that YNW Melly's attorneys wanted to bring back to the stand and have them under oath questioned again, cross-examined again. And to include, what's her name? The first prosecutor that was in the first trial. They wanted to have her take the stand in the trial. The judge said nah. So all that was shot down. First trial started on June 2023, but ended with a hung jury or mistrial. And the trial had many controversial moments, including the one where Melly blew kisses in a courtroom, which looked kind of crazy to us, right? There was some rumors going around there about Melly being involved in drugs behind bars. It ain't really rumors. That Detective Polo had a whole different investigation going on behind those bars on somebody completely different who he thought had nothing to do with Melly at all. And when they tapped his phone calls and started going through it, lo and behold, Melly, Bortland, Melly's ex-girl, all of them came up in it, right? So it could be credible information. So when we seen him in court blowing that kiss and doing all that crazy stuff that he was doing, like he was reaching for butterflies in the air and all that, he might have been high. We don't know. A lot of people were saying it. They were like, yo, he looked spaced out. He looked like he come to court high every day. He getting that good stuff from behind bars. Maybe it's them psych meds they giving him. We don't know. We don't know what's going on behind bars with him. His mama said he's been on restrictions forever and she hasn't seen him in forever and whatever. I'm going to leave it like this. After the judge ruled a dismissal due to the hung jury, Melly's defense team asked the court to remove the state prosecutor, and she was removed, and 3 new attorneys took over the case. Demon's new trial will start shortly and I can't wait for that to start. While incarcerated, it said that that's when he had actually joined the collective, the YNW Melly collective. He wasn't the one that started it. It was Sakchaser that started it, and they put Melly down once Melly got home, right? And Murder on My Mind was one of the songs he wrote while he was locked up, which blew up after he got out, and then he became the first solo star out of the YNW Melly collective. Now, there's also said that how the murders happen stems from arguments about who owns what percentage of the YNW collective, who's supposed to play what position. I remember one of the messages where Sakchaser was saying, I'm not going to sit around here begging y'all for percentages and begging you for pieces and pieces of my own shit, something I started. I'm the CEO of YNW. I just put you in that position because you first to blow, kind of thing, right? So I know it could be about all that. It could be about who owns the brand. It could be about whatever it is. The motive is what I'm talking about. And I guess we're going to have to wait until his trial happens for us to find out what the motive was, if they even come up with a motive. But check this out. They don't have to come up with a motive in order to prove murder. They don't have to come up with a weapon in order to prove that he did it either. Many of people have been convicted of murder and the murder weapon was never found. I'm just saying, for those of you out there who keep on saying they don't even have a gun, so how's this gonna stick? If I stab somebody up and they have evidence I did it, they don't need to find the weapon. It would be nice to find the weapon, but they don't need to find it. And the last piece of new information was that Fredo Bang, I think Fredo Bang they've been pulling him in and speaking to him. And he said the last time he spoke to Melly was 2023, sometime back in 2023. He hasn't really spoken to him since, right? But they want to have Fredo Bang added to this because he is said to be the person who actually picked up Melly when he walked away from the murder scene and transported him to wherever it is else he was supposed to go. Let's not forget that cell tower tracking stuff. Melly went to a video shoot the morning off, after a couple hours after the murders. And that cell tower tracking stuff showed that he had his cell phone on him at that location. Now, when YNW Bortland dropped that vehicle off at the hospital with the two bodies in it, that vehicle was confiscated by law enforcement and everything in it. You don't drop a vehicle off and there's broken glass and there's blood splatter everywhere and there's two bodies in it, and the detectives go, okay, you could search the vehicle and take out whatever you need to take out, young man, and we'll take it from here. Nah, it's get away from the vehicle. This right here is evidence. This holds evidence. This might solve these murders. So you can't even touch that vehicle again. So either Melly left his phone in the car, Bortland took it, gave it to him at the video shoot, which that's not what the cell tower tracking stuff says. The cell tower tracking says it sees on the satellite as the vehicle went that way with the bodies off to the hospital, and the person thought to be Melly went this way and started texting. And one of the persons they texted was Fredo Bang. Remember when they were going through all that in court? Right. So I'm telling you, man, it's going to be a very interesting case to behold once this goes back to court. I'm going to leave this one right here for now. Leave your comments in the comment section below, and may justice be served. That's all I can say. I don't have a dog in this fight. You know what I mean? I just want justice to be served. So may justice be served. I'll put it that way. And I'll catch y'all on the next video. It's BrainFLoTv. I'm out. Peace.